Hello everybody, welcome to ChinesePod. I'm Joy Lin.
Hi guys, I'm Elijah, and today we have a newbie lesson for you. So if you're a beginner, you're in the right place.
Today's lesson's about an explosion.
Well, we're not quite there yet. It happens in a car with a father and a son talking, and a word you need to listen for is new car. How do you say new car in Chinese?
新车,新车.
So listen for that, and let's hear the dialogue.
爸爸，买新车吧。
不买新车。
如果这车爆炸呢？
那就买吧。
爸爸，买新车吧。
不买新车。
如果这车爆炸呢？
那就买吧。
爸爸，买新车吧。
不买新车。
如果这车爆炸呢？
那就买吧。
Wow, it sounds like that kid really wants his dad to buy a new car. Let's now break down the dialogue line by line.
爸爸，买新车吧。
Daddy, buy a new car.
爸爸，买新车吧。
Daddy, buy a new car.
爸爸，买新车吧。不买新车。
We're not buying a new car.
不买新车。
I'm not buying a new car.
不买新车。如果这车爆炸呢？
What if this car explodes?
如果这车爆炸呢？
What if this car explodes?
如果这车爆炸呢？呵呵，那就买吧。
Ha. Okay, I guess we'll get one.
哈哈，那就买吧。
Ha. Okay, we'll buy one.
呵呵，那就买吧。
Wow, it sounds like that kid is determined to get a new car for his family.
And he's smart too in how he suggests it to his dad.
Pretty creative. Let's look a little more closely at some of these words here. So the kid, he's got this idea of what he wants to do. And so he says to his dad,
爸爸，买新车吧。
and this is a suggestion. And how do we know it's a suggestion?
So we know it's a suggestion because the last word is ba, or a suggestion word that you can put at the end of the sentence to ask somebody, hey, how about you do this?
Okay, so ba, what tone is that?
Ba, so fifth tone, so neutral tone.
So it's neutral. So if I wanted to suggest to you to have a seat,
坐吧，坐吧，
or how about to have a drink?
喝吧，喝吧，
What about to eat?
吃吧，吃吧。
Okay, so you just take the verb and put the ba after it, and you've made a suggestion. And he's suggesting that his dad do what?
Buy a car.
买新车. Dad, I want you to buy a new car. 买新车. So the word for buy is?
买，
And that's a third tone?
买 third tone. 买.
And so the dad, is he ready to buy a new car?
No, of course not. He's not that easily convinced.
No, I mean, cars are not cheap. And so he answers no. How does he do that?
不买新车，不买新车，
What's the word for no?
不。
Boo, you got to know this word.
So we
Fourth
often
tone.
hear people say 不要。
Boo, yeah, means I don't want it.
I don't want it. 不要，不买新车，
So boo, and then the verb.
不 and then the verb.
Okay.
Exactly.
So he says, 不买新车, not gonna buy a new car. And there's no subject here. How do we know the subject?
Okay, that's actually a good question. So in English, you know, there's like the passive tense, like the thief was arrested. We don't know who, so it's like a hidden subject.
Ah, okay.
So in this case, it's implied because the little boy is asking his father, so it's implied 我不买, but he doesn't have to say it. He can just start with the verb 不买.
So we actually see this in Chinese a lot, where
Yeah, we
there
do.
is no subject.
Yeah.
And I know for me that for a foreigner listening, sometimes I get confused.
You're like,
wait a
who's
second.
talking?
Who are we talking about here?
Yeah. I've heard an interesting explanation is that Chinese avoid directly mentioning themselves. They don't want to place the I in there to seem, because humility is very important. So they will sort of avoid it and just state it with the verb and leave it implied who it's talking about.
Yeah. And this happens in my home a lot. We speak a lot of Chinese at home. And so often my wife will be talking, and I just have to say, wait. Who are we talking about? Because there was no subject, and I don't know.
Yeah. Or even if somebody is having a conversation and she'll just like 不喜欢. She wouldn't say me, 不喜欢,不要.
So don't let that throw you. The subject is often implied, and the dad just answers 不买新车, which you could translate, I'm not buying a new car, or we're not buying a new car. It's all the same. And the end result is, there's no new car coming, kid.
But he's got another.
He's got an idea here.
Yeah.
So he said, he thinks for a bit, and he thinks of a conditional sentence, which is, what does he say?
Which has to end in an explosion since he's a kid.
Explosion, how do you say that in Chinese?
爆炸. So it sounds like bang, right? 爆炸.
And so the sentence he uses starts with,
It says 如果这车爆炸呢?
so what if this car explodes? We won't have a car, right, Dad?
So we start the sentence with if, 如果. So the if clause is usually a if then, right? But he doesn't end with a then, he ends with ne.
Oh, so he says if, but he doesn't get to the end. Now the na, what does that mean?
It's like if question mark. So the ne is a signpost that is sort of suggesting a hypothetical. 如果 something something ne, what if question mark?
Yeah, so the na, it can mean different things in different contexts, but the basic meaning is, I'm going to pause for a minute because I want you to finish what I'm saying. And so he says, he's fishing for the answer he wants to hear. He wants to hear that we're getting a new car. So if the car explodes,
Then...
you finish the hypothetical, Dad. What are we going to do?
And then the dad goes, haha, 那就买吧.
Dad admits defeat. You're right. If the car explodes, we'll have to get a new
那就
one.
买吧.
Yeah, 那就买吧.
So 那就 is like then we'll buy one. And then he also ends with 吧.
Yeah, oh, this is different. Is the dad making a suggestion here?
No, so he's like answering definitively. It's sort of, but it's not super definitive either. It's kind of like, well, I guess then we'll buy one. So the 吧 is like, okay, let's do that.
So if people are talking about doing something and one person makes a suggestion and they use the word 吧 to make the suggestion, then the other person can even like use the 吧 as part of the reply?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I say 吃吧,
好吧.
so I asked her, hey, eat. And she's, well, I'll be convinced to eat. And so she says 吃, the word for eat, and then adds the 吧 to answer my 吧. I say a 吧, and she gives it back to me. 吧.
Yeah, so he's asking 吃吧. And I said, 好吧.
How about this? 喝吧,
好吧.
坐吧.
Wait, why am I so easily convinced? 好吧. I'm like the yes man today.
Yep, you agree to everything I say.
Yeah. 好吧.
So if the lesson is over and it's time to go, maybe I will say 走吧.
走吧. 好吧. Let's go back to the dialogue.
爸爸买新车吧。
不买新车。
如果这车爆炸呢？
那就买吧。
爸爸买新车吧。
不买新车。
如果这车爆炸呢？
那就买吧。
爸爸买新车吧。
不买新车。
如果这车爆炸呢？
那就买吧。Wow, I really enjoyed that lesson.
Is it because it was a real story?
This is a real story. I was in my car with my, at the time, 3-year-old in the back, and he just suddenly asked me, 爸爸，买新车吧. And so I answered him, no, I don't want to buy a new car. And so he really thought about how to get me to want to get a new car.
And being 3.
Also, he had just learned the word 爆炸, and so I think he was eager to use it.
But that's such a good suggestion though, because if my car 爆炸, I gotta buy a new one, right?
Yeah, I had to admit defeat. Then, yeah, if it blows up, we'll buy a new one.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. My name's Joy.
And I'm Elijah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Now, here's a vocabulary recap.
买
Buy.
新
New.
车
Car.
把
A particle indicating a suggestion.
不
No.
如果
If.
这
This.
爆炸
Explode.
呢
Question particle.
就
Then.
ChinesePod, ChinesePod.